Okay, let's look at e.l.f. since people asked for it. And I already have a model built. We won't spend more than like 15, 20 minutes on it. Oh, e.l.f.'s dropped a lot. From 6.5 bill to 4 bill. I think ChatGPT kills Chegg is kind of like the obvious, pretty obvious, but it's probably more than meets the eye. Like I said, Chegg's language business is substantial, and if they could ever right-size the margins for their existing customers, you know, they don't have to be the Chegg used to be like a 20 billion market cap or something crazy. They don't have to get there for us to make money. They just have to have any stabilization at all in any segment of their customers. I mean, anything. Chegg is an easy win, but it doesn't look like that anything may even happen. So I'm using CWP. This is like a very underused mnemonic on both our terminal and Bloomberg's. CWP is company webpage. And you just go to the webpage a little faster without having to fuck around. Bloomberg's actually got a browser in the Bloomberg, so you don't leave Bloomberg, which is funny. What is this shit? Give me some financials. Is this their investor relations? Okay. There we go. Yeah, it should really go to the IR page, right? Instead of the company's main page. Okay, so sales grew again for these guys. Revenue growth slowing. And these guys are mostly a retailer, if I remember correctly, right? Or are they mostly a product? I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking of is the other beauty guy that we looked at. Ulta. Ulta's the retailer. These guys are product. So Ulta sells their stuff. Yeah, so the number crunching part of this is a lot faster given we already built this model way back when. And again, having a nice collection of models is, especially for the industry you care about. Now notice that e.l.f. has almost no property, plant, and equipment. They almost certainly outsource whoever makes their makeup for them. I mean, you might have 20 million property, plant, equipment just in headquarters equipment alone, like computers and stuff. So I don't think they make their own makeup. Almost no property, plant, and equipment. That's an asset-light company. A lot of software companies are like this, a lot of drug companies. If you don't have to manufacture anything, there's no capital, and so many more businesses are like this. Now, you're just renting somebody else's capital for a fee. So you're still you're making trade-offs that may or may not make sense. You could argue there's less of a moat when you outsource your product. Yeah, not always, but depends on other things. Your brand name, your ecosystem. I mean, makeup's makeup. You know, it's. I think the brand is. I trust e.l.f. If I'm gonna wear it every day, I trust it as a woman, for example. And my girlfriends tell me it's really good and this and that, you know, so that's the kind of thing that does matter a lot. And, you know, just something to keep in mind. It's cheaper. Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to make the joke. I brought it on myself. They did do an acquisition. Yeah, so they're the ripoff brand. They just steal ideas and go to town. Not much cash flow here. Yeah, I don't know beauty well. I've always wanted to, just because it's sort of tangential to pharma in the sense that, you know, there were actually a lot of cosmetics companies that had pharma divisions, and vice versa. I mean, they're sort of fine chemicals if you think about it. One thing I like to do is look at gross margin in a company like this and say, okay, they have 900 million in gross margins. It's trading at like 7 times gross margin. And it's growing. But obviously they do a hell of a lot of sales and marketing, so may even be safe to look at. It's not quite EBITDA, but things get a little ugly when you look at EBITDA here. It's just expensive, I mean. Let's see if I can get a better sense. I don't know why their cash flow would be declining all of a sudden. It's like really bizarre. Sort of bizarre thing. They lowered guidance? That's sort of bearish for the economy too. Expensive and lowering guidance is not a good combination. They need to get that sales momentum back. That's really scary. They're saying they're going to grow 1% next quarter? Yikes. What the fuck? They're also saying softer than expected trends in January. Do you guys see this shit? You guys, chat, you see this shit? 71% revenue growth. And 50, all right, still good, growing like a weed. 40, all right, not bad. It's still Google level growth from the heyday. 31, not many people growing 31. Yo. Yo, what the fuck? Bro, that's less than inflation, bro. That's less than inflation. Can't be tariffs. Monk is in the chat. The category is down. Well, we'll have to look at some of the other companies. $6.5 B for 1.3 revenue. 5 times sales. Spend damn near everything of gross profit on sales and marketing. No cash flow to speak of. Yeah, makeup should be recession proof. You got to keep up with inflation. You guys are terrible. I know I'm mostly a male audience, but fiscal Q4 is like some big thing for them. Let's see. Lots of dudes in here use their products. Little eyeshadow. Didn't Canadians do that? I've met some Canadian executives. And I'm like, this dude wearing eyeshadow. What the fuck? Hey, what the fuck? Koreans. Emo, very emo. I don't know. That's too emo even for me. Okay, so on average, they make $8 million in free cash flow a quarter. They were making a lot more before. I'm assuming they'll have some kind of monster quarter, at least on free cash flow next quarter, but I don't know. Shit. I hate to say it, this thing looks like a short. But again, I don't know beauty. Like, that Q1 could be... Oh, thank you. Thank you, Wyatt. Phew. I mean, it's still a little expensive. So it's actually 3 times sales. I mean, assume they can cut promotional costs. They have some interest expense that they're not going to have long run. So we'll look at it from an EBITDA perspective. It's a little better. Sort of coping here. This is the cope stage. Yeah, even in the best possible light, I don't see it. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, they basically have to just keep scaling. The scenario I painted 6 months ago was something like this, where they would just grow and grow and grow at 30% for many years, even a couple years. Doesn't look like it's in the cards. What's RTO? Oh yeah, I guess if RTO happens, maybe. I think we have to look at the rest of the beauty ecosystem and just see what's kind of happened. Because like they were obviously outpacing everyone, but that outpacing can only last so long, and they sort of hit a wall there. I don't know. I think it's almost all U.S., right? Once again, whose management do we like them? I know even less about beauty than I do about CDNs. At least I kind of know what a CDN is. I use those products, even if vaguely. So, learning the beauty industry is something I do want to do. It is going to be painful and difficult. I want to look at the other publicly traded companies and get a sense. We gotta listen to their conference calls, see what's going on. But yeah, it's hard for me unless they're gonna have some real big trend reversal on revenue. That's an awful number, man. I mean, that's just like disgusting. That makes me want to. Oh. I like feel bad for these companies when I see that. I want to cry. That's like a thug feels your pain, you know what I mean? I know what you've been through. Lost a homie. I see your revenue declining like that. It's like, damn, man. Shit. Then I go short it. Psych. Okay, I mean, look, I think, that's kind of why I have the portfolio is to play around with some of these stocks and just kind of see if I'm right or wrong at the end. And it forces me to kind of like look at them when I don't want to. The most comfortable thing for me is to stick to pharma. I know that space really well. Super easy to just say, no, I can't look at that. It's not pharma. But, it's not that different from pharma. So International tends to not bring too much growth back. I mean, it's no good if the U.S. is stagnant. I mean, they spend a lot of money on sales and marketing, and I'm not sure they're getting a return there. So at least you can kind of like normalize sales and marketing. What would you pay for this company? That's the bullish way to look at it. You don't want that, though. I mean, you want growth. But kind of the bullish way to look at it is if you had normal, like steady state, it's just hard to know how much sales and marketing is really normal. But like, I mean, you have a lot of gross profit to play with. I mean, you're sort of trading at 4 times gross profit, which, you're not going to get that in cash flow, but you got to do some sales and marketing. But I'm sure they do heavy sales and marketing, but it's some of that's G&A and wasteful infrastructure stuff. So they could be, a takeover. So I don't know if you add back. Still not exciting if it doesn't grow again. It could be private equity would do better with it than